Welcome to day 4 of Finance Miss. And I'm sounding a little better. I'm getting over my cold, so y'all don't have to hit up all of that anymore. We're getting better. All right. Today we're going to talk about. Damn, I just said I'm sounding better. Today we're going to talk about how to budget as a new family, tips for newlyweds. As you all know, I got married a couple of months ago and we have just been navigating our finances together, navigating our life together. And it's fairly new for me still. And I know it's fairly new for him as well. Obviously, this is both of our first times being married. So I want to talk about like the tips, what we do, what it looks like for our relationship, and then maybe it's something that you can take into yours. Disclaimer. This is not something I would do with a boyfriend. This is not something I would do in a situationship. This is not something I would do with someone who is just long term. I don't care, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. Money remains separate. Even when I lived with my boyfriend, his money was his money, my money was my money, and we were splitting things 50-50, and I was completely fine with that. But when you get to a point where you're married, it changes things a little bit. So first thing is I had to get out of that 50-50 mindset, right? This is my husband. The bills belong to us. The debt now also belongs to us. And my husband actually doesn't have any debt. I have the debt. So I guess it made it a little bit easier maybe, but everything was for us to tackle together and everything is for us to tackle together. So bills are for us to tackle together. And I think I had to learn that because he came into my space and I was just so used to paying for everything that for me it was always like, no, I got it. Like, don't even know how much a bill is. Don't even know anything. And I'm just handling it. So I had to switch my mindset to say, like, Selma, you could actually talk to him about the light bill, the Wi-Fi, the mortgage, the HOA fee, like all these things you pay for. This is your husband now, right? Like you can actually talk about these things together so that also he's not left in the dark. He has an idea of what needs to be paid, how much it is, how to go into the accounts and pay it, right? All of those things is something that we did not discuss before. And I think we're still discussing like all of those things, how to access those things as well. But like knowing all the bills together and not just one person being left in the dark and one person handling all the finances. Because what I tend to realize is that when that happens, the other person literally has no idea what to do. Like you've handled it so much and so well and so consistently that they have no idea what to do in case you get sick, in case, God forbid you pass away, like something happens. They have no idea how to handle the bills. So that is something that we do together. One of the biggest things is though we have an open and honest discussion about our finances, right? Goals we want to have with our money. And I talked about this before, but having a shared vision and a shared understanding is important. But understanding our goals together, understanding our goals separately, because we still are individual people, is extremely important. So our goal really, my husband is very simple. He's just going to save his money. He's going to save his money. He might buy a game here and there, pair of sneakers here and there, but he's very much a homebody. But our shared vision was to make sure that we bought a house, right? We want to buy a house. So one of our biggest goals over the next 2 to 3 years is to save as much money as possible to make sure that we can afford the down payment on that house. But we also have separate goals, right? We also have separate investing goals. We also have separate savings goals. We're about to have a baby. So discussing what that looks like. We are both big on like not a huge first birthday. Like we don't want to go all out. Like we don't want all of the drama and money spent that comes with like a first birthday. So to be on the same page about a lot of things about our money has been like huge. To just say we both know what we want, right? We both understand what we want together, and then we still make a way to tackle our goals together as well as separately. Also, another thing, there's no ego. Like, we don't have ego when it comes to talking about money. My husband is fine. Like, I know you know this. You clearly do this, right? This is something you can handle. I'll give you the money and I can trust that you can handle it. But also on the back end, I'm showing him everything, and I'm not hiding anything. So I'll get the money. He's like, all right, we're going to save it. We've been saving it. I always send him a screen, he can check, but I'm always sending a screenshot update of like, okay, this is where the house down payment is, right? This is where the money for the baby is. This is how much is there. You gave me this. This is exactly where I put the money. There's no ego. He never said like, oh, you don't never let me do this, or I'm not like, if he ever wanted to do it, I'm totally fine with him handling the finances as well. But I think when you allow ego to get in the way, you miss the mark. You miss the vision. You miss the message. You miss the point of doing things together. When ego gets in the way, it can literally drive a wedge between what's the common goal. And for us, we want to make sure that we don't have that. We want to make sure that we're always honest about what we want. We make room for all the things that we want, but there's definitely like no ego there at all. One of the big things we're doing in 2025 is living off of one income and investing and saving the rest. Our main goal for 2025, 2026, 2027, 2020, whatever, is to live off one income as much as possible and save and invest the rest. We know that we want this house. We know that where we want to live is not cheap. And we know that it's going to take us some time. But I also know that one salary has to go straight to saving and investing. And someone had said, well, yeah, we split the bills 50-50 and then we save. And I'm like, for me, I don't want to do that. For me, I want us to be comfortable living off of one income completely and saving the entire thing. I don't want to do the splitting and then the saving and the no. And it might be different for you. Maybe you're with someone who isn't necessarily ready to handle their finances, right? Or mix their finances with you and you guys have to split and then save. That's fine. But for us, what works better is that we just know that check completely goes to saving money. Like that check completely goes to investing while we live as much as possible off the other one. Do as much as we can off that other one. But I will say this might not be doable for every couple, right? You might not be able to completely live off of one salary and then save and invest the other. But what you should get as close to that as possible. So if it's a two salary household, right? And you take your salary plus half of your husband's salary or half of your wife's salary, and then y'all living off of 1.5 salary, and then the 0.5 of the other salary is getting invested, saved, and paying off debt. That's still amazing. That's still great. And I want to say neither of us, like just main income, makes over six figures. Like I'm a teacher in New York. I don't make over six figures. He works. He doesn't make over six figures yet, right? Like we are doing this on a salary that together, yeah, we make over six figures, but individually we don't. So main goal, even with a baby coming for the next years to come until we get this house, until we're settled, is to live off of just one salary. Another thing I would say is make sure everyone has their own spending money, and don't monitor what you spend that money on. So when it comes to the spending money needs to go into your account. The spending money needs to go into your partner's account. And you do not need to know what someone is spending money on. I will say this from experience because I had like a joint account with a boyfriend at one point, and we were trying to save, and we would put money in an account together, and then he would just pull money out to just buy random stuff. And it would annoy me so bad because I'm like, you say you don't have any money, we starting to save, and all I see you is transactions for clothes, transactions for sneakers, transactions for all these other things when you don't have any money. So it would get me so, y'all, I'll be pissed. I would just like judge so hard. Like, you're like, I would judge so hard. So now I understand the concept of people having their own spending money, totally fine, totally separate. And then you get to spend on whatever you want. So for us, again, my husband is super simple. He has his own spending money. He'll buy whatever he wants. He'll buy his own food. He'll buy his all those things. So when I'm doing like my budget and my spending audit, I don't calculate that because that is his money. I'll calculate my portion. One of the things we do keep joint is our eating out budget, simply because we're working on trying like a new different restaurant at least once a week. We might scale that back to twice a week. Or we might keep it once a week until this baby come, because I know after that we're probably going to be in the house. So that money stays together. Shopping money, like that is separate. But we make sure that we keep our spending money separate. Now let's talk about last but not least before we get out of here. Make sure the person you end up with wants to be better, wants to grow. And this is someone that says, well, my mama did it. Because no, your mother probably struggled tremendously and she was probably depressed and you called her strong. Like, make sure you are on a journey with someone who has your shared vision. There has been countless conversations I've had with women, especially Black women, who have husbands, who have boyfriends, who are simply, and for a lack of better term, no, who are simply, they're being used. And I have to tell them, like, yeah, you're being used, right? Like, this person doesn't want to grow with you. This person is making sure you pay all the bills. This person is not trying to help you grow as a family. This person is holding you back. And for some reason, some of the women just can't let go. And I can't say I understand. Because babes, really I could do bad by myself, but I can do great by myself, right? And I think sometimes we miss that message, is that some people aren't ready. You can have a partner who's not ready to change their mindset, who doesn't know how to change their mindset, who doesn't want to. Some people just don't want to change their mindset. And you have to decide, is your life worth struggling while you're dragging somebody along with you? Like, dragging them. Like, you're going to get tired after a while. You're not going to want to drag somebody along. So before you even get married, please make sure you and your partner, your person, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, make sure that y'all have a shared vision of money. Make sure that you have a shared understanding of what you want to accomplish together. Make sure that the ego never gets in the way of that. And make sure that you're not always carrying the load. There's a difference between carrying the load for a season, carrying the load, for a couple of months when you're married, as y'all are getting through something, working through something. I understand that. But if you realize 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you're still carrying the load by yourself, that's a problem. Another problem I've come to notice from women is that when the one person is carrying the load so much, and then the other person gets to the point where they're making money consistently, they become so stingy with their money, as if you weren't carrying the load the entire time. Like, did you not forget I was paying all the bills for 2 to 3 years, and now you got money and you're not trying to help, right? All of these things you need to recognize. All of these things you need to be aware of. So just as a newlywed couple working through finances together, again, make sure the vision is shared. Make sure you talk open and honestly about what you want financially. Make sure you find a partner who wants the same things you want. My husband has a vision for the house. I'm writing the plan, right? He has a vision to be with his son in the backyard. I'm writing the plan for us to get there. He's making the money for us to get there. I'm making money for us to get there. We're both contributing to that. We're both living off of less. There could be a whole bunch of other things that we could want to do. But right now, the shared vision, the shared plan is that we may eat out a little bit less. We may shop a little bit less, because we know right now we're doing a little bit of sacrificing to make sure that in the next 3 years, we're able to give our son a home. We're able to give ourselves a home. So if I can give just one more disclaimer, And I'm going to say it again because sometimes y'all don't hear me. Stop dragging people along when you know they don't belong on the journey with you. Husband, wife, whatever it is. If you are consistently doing the work by yourself, nothing will ever really work if you have someone you have to drag along with you. So, my question to you is, have you ever been in a relationship where you did not grow with someone financially and you had to leave them behind? Or have you ever been in a relationship where you didn't grow with someone financially and you still decided to keep it going? What did the experience teach you? Mwah! Bye.